Oh, it's definitely a G.
No.
G sharp? What? Yeah. It was a G sharp?
Yeah.
I was so close with my first guess.
E. A. G sharp.
D, B flat, F, A flat, C sharp, D.
I don't know. I don't think I played the A. I think I added that because I got confused.
Maddie, I think it became apparent pretty early on that she had a unique ear, that she could hear things even beyond what Mom and I could hear. I remember the first time, I don't know how old she was, maybe 5 or so, and I went over to the piano just for fun. I'm like, hey Maddie, what note is this? And I hit a middle C to make it easy, because middle C, and she got it right away. That's interesting.
It was pretty cool when we realized that she had it, and of course Dad noticed because he would say, wow, she's singing that piece in the same key that it was actually performed in.
I think they just noticed that I would like hear something and then kind of like play the same thing on the piano.
I started doing music when I was like 3 years old, just because my parents did it and my older sister did it. My older sister started playing violin, so when I was around 3, I just started playing as well.
Maddie's perfect pitch is pretty amazing, actually. I think it goes beyond perfect pitch in that she can hear how the notes are related instantly, and she can hear many of them at the same time. So I can go to the piano and hit 10 notes at once, any cluster I want. By cluster I mean I can make it as ugly as possible so she can't cheat. And she can pretty much name them all.
It's just hearing a note or like a key that something is in, and you just kind of just know automatically what it is. It's kind of like, it's just the same thing as the same color for me. Like, I could look at this couch and be like, it's blue, and that's kind of the same thing as hearing a note and just like, oh, that's an A.
Not a lot of other families are like this with such a rich exposure to music. Like, I've been going to orchestra concerts since I was like a fetus, so.
So when we first started raising a family, I think Sally and I decided that it was important for our children to have lessons, because obviously it was a big part of our life. Music is very important to us, so we wanted you to have the opportunity to experience that. That being said, we also knew that we'd be happy with whatever you guys chose to do. So if you became musicians, that's great. If you became financial business planners, that's fine. If you became film producers, maybe. No. So yeah, we are happy with our kids going whatever route they want to go in, as long as they're passionate about it. I was about 10 years old and discovered a trumpet on my couch that my older brother had left there. Anyway, I picked up said trumpet and decided to try to play it. My brother was literally right over there. And he was like, Jimmy, I was Jimmy back then. I said, Jimmy, you're pretty good at that. He said, let me teach you a scale. So he taught me a scale, and lo and behold, I could play trumpet okay right when I started. And so then my parents decided to send me to Interlochen summer camp. And so I went there at age 10 to play in an orchestra. And the first moment I sat down in a chair in an orchestra with violins and cellos, which I'd never even seen before, I was hooked. So I've been performing in orchestras from the age of 10 until 38, and I've been writing music ever since. I would say my parents had different roles in my success. My father loved to invent things and started his own business, so I think those two things put together really, I mean, we would talk in the car all the time about his business and his love of music, and I listened to him playing piano all the time in the house. So all these things led to my love of music. I knew that my dad had a choice between, not a choice, he loved music. His dad tried to make him join the sports teams, but he hated it. So that's why my dad took to music. So I knew I had freedom to go into music. My mother was an instant barometer of whether my music was interesting or not. When I started composing, my mother, if she was in the audience, I could tell immediately whether she liked the piece or not, just by the look on her face. Same thing when I was a performer. When I would play trumpet and she would come up, she would either be like, and I knew. I just knew immediately. Or she would be really excited. So she didn't have to say a word. She had that quiet communication. And always, of course, supportive. I mean, driving me everywhere, lessons, concerts. I can't even begin to tell you how supportive she was.
My parents signed me up for piano lessons when I was 8 years old. So I took piano lessons starting when I was 8. And then when I was 12, my dad signed me up for organ lessons because by then he knew that I wasn't going to be in sports very much. And he was in sports. He was a star basketball player in high school. And then went into teaching and wound up coaching every sport there was. So he was focused on sports, and I didn't want to have anything to do with sports. So when I was in high school, and then I went off to junior college, pretty soon I had to make up my mind what I was going to do for the future. Focusing on music was a scary proposition, but I liked math, did well in math, and electrical engineers were in demand. And so I went off to college, went to Purdue. I went there because my father went to Purdue, and got a bachelor's degree there in electrical engineering. But I still didn't know what I wanted to do, even if I had a degree in electrical engineering. When I was in college, I entered an essay contest. The title of the essay that I wrote was Designing an Electronic Organ. From my experience in playing the organ and my knowledge that I was gaining to become an electrical engineer, I put those together and thought about how to design an electronic organ. So then I came back to Lockport. They hired me to play the organ at the Congregational Church in Lockport when I came back. And I hated the organ, and they were searching for an organ. And I kept saying, I can do better than that, I can do better than that, because I had this design in my head for electronic organ. So I put together a prototype organ, one manual, and it took 4 years. But on November 8th, 1968, I said, okay, I'm done. Here it is. We're playing it every Sunday. And we've been playing it every Sunday for over 50 years at this point. I was about ready to go off to college, we needed a replacement for me because I'd been playing the organ at the church for 6 years at that point, from when I was 14 to when I was 20. And my father was really good friends with Wally Smith, who was a member of the church. And guess what? Wally Smith had a daughter who was then 14 and had been taking piano lessons. So he volunteered her to replace me. And so I gave her organ lessons. And she did. So she played the organ then for the next 3 years. So now here I am out in California. I've got my master's degree. And what do I do now? Do I keep on working in Hughes in California? Or do I go back to Lockport? So I came back here, but at that point, Shirley, who I had given the organ lessons to, still had 2 years to go in college. We started dating. We dated for 6 months, and I proposed. And she said she'd think about it. And she thought about it overnight. She came back with a yes.
There's this song by Coldplay. It's called "Oh." It's one of my favorite songs in the world. And my dad's mom passed away a few years ago from cancer. And so kind of at the end, we would go to their house in Lockport a lot and just like visit them and just be with my grandma. And they really liked when Kate and I would play the piano and like sing songs for them. My grandma would be in one room and then the piano was in the other room. And like one of the last days we went there, Kate and I were playing that song, "Oh," and my parents told us later that she was kind of like smiling in her bed and just like really enjoying it. And that was one of her last memories of us, if not the last. And it just kind of shows how powerful music is, and I really am glad, even though we weren't really in the same room, it kind of like connected us together.
Going forward, I would think and I would hope that I will continue to get to compose for a wide variety of ensembles, whether symphony orchestras. Like next month I have a Chicago Symphony premiere, which is very exciting because I grew up in Chicago and hope to play in it someday. So now to have a piece played by them is quite exciting. So hopefully more of that. I also do a lot of educational sort of things, writing for bands and universities and middle school groups and things like that. And that's become a true passion of mine, to go and visit with these groups and share my love and passion for music. So anything that combines the creation for, or even the conducting of these ensembles, so that I can be involved in the music making process. This is my desire.
I went to BU as a psychology major. Just, I don't know, because it was something new and interesting, and I thought maybe I could connect psychology and music maybe with like music therapy or research maybe on like how music affects the brain. And a month into freshman year, like first semester, I kind of had this like breakdown. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I haven't touched the piano in a month. This isn't what I want to do. And I kind of just realized that I wanted to write music. I wanted to be a composer. I'd been doing it for a while. And so a lot of paperwork later, and then the next semester, I was a composition major.
I'm playing in the church tomorrow. My official title at the church is Assistant Music Director. I'm the official accompanist for the choir. I've just been involved in music continuously. It's always given me a sense of who I am. I'm always doing music of some kind my whole life. And I'm always glad when that's carried on in some sense with my children and my grandchildren. It's an exciting thing to behold.